See if the new card is worth all the hype it's been getting, or will it be gone in a blink? Find out what's going on as I hereby summon all my imps to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So with the season pass card being in a different position than a spotlight cash roulette, now going forward, every single season I come up with a brand new video to explain the card that's in the season pass card. This isn't trying to get you to buy it, just what the card is and what it does and the story behind it. So for this particular month, we have Blink. Blink is a teleportation mutant and has a refined power set. She has mastered several methods utilizing her powers. In addition to opening teleportation portals, she can also focus her ability into short, transparent, crystal-like javelins, which teleport whatever person or object they touch. They can also be changed to stun opponents unconscious. She usually keeps a supply with her in a quiver around her back, but she can make them one at a time at will. Blink started out as a scared child who lived in fear of her mutant abilities ever since her powers first manifested. She was an imprisoned mutant in her reality, captured by an evil alien race until one day she helped them escape but accidentally killed herself with her powers. In the process, she should no longer exist, but she became unstuck in time and is now given a second chance in this new timeline and reality to use her powers to fight with the X-Men and the Exiles. Blink's teleportation is always accompanied by a blink sound, which is where she takes her codename from. She always takes caution with her powers, and she never wants to use them to cause harm to somebody close to her. It is for those reasons that she also became skilled at hand-to-hand fighting. However, when under threat, she is not afraid to unleash her full power. She has teleported away half a ship with her space-altering powers before just to win a fight. Blink can open small portals and transport parts of her body or other objects into them, allowing her to attack opponents from different positions simultaneously or even redirecting their attacks back at them. Once a portal is open, it remains open until she closes it. The longer the distance and the more mass that is being teleported, the harder it is for her to create portals. However, she can make smaller portals, one right after the other, in order to reduce the strain on herself. Blink can teleport herself in large masses, including sizable groups of people. She can also use her power in a destructive manner by teleporting only parts of objects. She can open portals that displace projectiles, even enemies that threaten her. Her portals are typically pink and accompanied by the blink sound. Her powers have not been fully tested, and it's uncertain the amount of mass that she can teleport before losing consciousness. Blink is a mutant with the power of teleportation. She has the ability to teleport herself and others at will. This is represented in Marvel Snap by the fact that when she is played, she will teleport the last team member you put out before her at any location into your deck, and then she will teleport a higher team member onto the field at that location. So in Marvel Snap, she is a 5 cost, 6 power with the description of on reveal. She swaps the last card you played, not summoned, at any location, not just at her location, back into your deck, and then she takes a card that's higher than that out and puts it into that location. Doesn't have to be the location she's on. So in Marvel Snap, she is, in my opinion, a 3-star rate. Now, a lot of people have been giving her a very high star rate, 4s and 5s, and there's a part of me that wants to give her that same 4 or 5 rating. But the problem with her is as good as she is, it's the fact that she falls into that 5 category. If you look at the card that comes closest to her, That would be Nimrod. Nimrod is also a 5/6. That basically, if it's just on the board, you kind of sit there and go, who would ever want to play this card? But it's when you combine this with other cards that you actually get the most out of what happens. So the talk of this card is stuff like Electro. The whole idea is on 3, you get the Electro, and then right on 4, supposedly, you get the blink to make a 6-drop come out. So on turn 3, you technically get a 6, and on turn 5, you get a 6, and on turn 6, you get a 6. And while that's a great way that you can go down, if you don't get her till turn 5, you're kind of just having Electro be dead in your deck. Now, there are other cards that work well with her. And this is where she gets to be good. When you look at her kind of like a Lockjaw, she's a reverse Lockjaw. Instead of coming out ahead of time, she comes out behind time and basically does the same thing as Lockjaw. And even when you roll high on her, like let's say you had out a Vision, and you roll and you don't have any 6s, if you have a Death in your deck and the Death hasn't come out, it'll still become a Death. Because even when Death is down to 0, it's still considered an 8-cost card. This is the highest card in the game so far. Now, what you are trying to do is you're trying to get something like Infinite out, cheated out. But sometimes you draw the Infinite, but that's where this card sometimes can be good. You don't have to go heavy into this. Even if you played a Cable and ended up getting an Absorbing Man off of that, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go in you can play an Absorbing Man and end up with a Spider-Woman. There's nothing wrong with that. You can go from the Absorbing Man into the Vision and just have that happen. Now, a little bit of a side note. If you do play Wong and you play her on Wong, she will still only activate once. She doesn't have a target the second time around and gets confused. So even if you have Wong out or a Wong-like effect, she'll still only activate once. Shuri is a good card with her, and I wouldn't be surprised if down the road, somehow she gets the Shuri-like effect, where you actually have to play the card on the same location you played your last card. Because there's a lot of ways that you can sneak a card into a location, and your opponent doesn't know about it, because you don't have to play the blink on the same location that you played her like you do with Shuri. And again, you don't have to go hog wild onto this. Doing a Cable and having that Cable become a Gladiator is perfectly fine. And even on turn 6, if you have a 1-drop in your hand and you have Blink in your hand, if you don't have any 2s, 3s, or 4s, that 1-drop's now becoming a 5. If you're searching for one thing in your deck, that's going to be a big boon to you to have that one card come out of nowhere. The problem with her is that she has such a limited window of usability. You have to get her down by 5. And you're hoping to get her down by 4, but in order to do it, you need some sort of energy cheat. Even on 5, it's you have to have had a good. If you get her on 5 and you didn't get the Electro, then you have to have a good 4 that becomes a good 5 or a good 6. You have to build your deck in such a way and hope that you didn't get your big stuff in the beginning, your small stuff in the end. Now, with that being said, there are times where you can just make a tiny little deck, or all you have are, like, say, 1s and 2s. You can even have all 1s in your deck, or no 1s in your deck. You can literally make a deck where all you have is Electro and Blink, and then just a whole bunch of 6s, and try to make that work. And you'll actually win games with it, but then you're really high rolling with it. It's a good card because, in my opinion, if you're building a deck, you put good stuff in your deck. If you're playing Blink in your deck, if you purposely put Blink in your deck, you put good stuff in your deck. If you play Blink and there's not good stuff in your deck, you either purposely didn't put good stuff in your deck, or somehow you got bad stuff in your deck, like a District decks. So if you see District decks, you might do as well just bounce. But if you put Blink in your deck and you put bad stuff in your deck and Blink pulls something bad, it's not Blink doing something wrong, it's you putting that bad card in your deck. I think this is going to be a card that in the long run is going to be a card that slots in at times. It's going to be a decently good card that you're going to see pop up and you're going to lose a game to. It's going to make certain cards be interesting. Anything that's a low power and has a high effect. The 1-drops, the 2-drops that do amazing things. Like even Cable you get rid of, and let's say you've already taken out your Electro and you get no 3-drops left. Cable becoming a Shuri is not the end of the world, but the thing is that that's happening on turn 5, and you had to play an awkward turn 4. So it is a good card, but you have to be cautious about when you get it and how you play it. That's why, even though a lot of people want to say this is a staple card, is a 5-star card, I kept looking at it. Good card, but small-winded. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.